So this year, I actually made $100,000 working 9 hours in 7 months. And the exact steps I did to do this was I pulled open the DealMachine app, I selected the tax delinquent list, I sent direct mail to 1,300 tax delinquent owners in Indianapolis where I like to invest. And then I got a call back from one of them who said, they got into this deal 3 years earlier, but they've made no progress ever since they bought the deal, and their contractor kind of like went MIA. And so then there were taxes that were accumulating that they weren't paying either. And he was an orthodontist. He had a lot of money. He just wanted to get out of the deal. And I told him he bought it a bit too high. So I could buy it for 20,000 less than what he paid for it. Plus he came to the table with his $20,000 of back taxes. That deal, thankfully, nothing crazy came up. But I totally rehabbed this property that had the ceiling caved in and was accumulating water damage every single day. And it appraised for $425,000. And I bought it for 160 and I did 120 to the renovation. So I was all in 285. So you can see the difference there is over $100,000. Now, of course, there's some fees for doing the refinance, et cetera. But that's how I really made that much money. And I say I worked 9 hours because I sent the tax delinquent mail out, and then I kind of forgot about it as that kept repeating. Then I answered the phone. Then I analyzed the deal, and then my contractor kind of like did all the rest. So until it was time to refinance again, I didn't really touch it until he was done. So that's why I say I made $100,000 over 9 hours in 7 months. And I believe, Ryan, you've done some deals like this too, right? And the end of the story is once you refinance it, you get that money from buying it and renovating it back. And because it's worth so much more than what I had in it, the whole loan covers everything. So there's no down payment. And I just need to put a tenant in there to pay for the rent, pay for the mortgage, taxes, insurance every month. So it's kind of like a free house, if you will, once you're all said and done. Plus you get some extra cash in your pocket immediately too. So have you done deals like this, Ryan?
Yeah. In fact, I close on 4 BRRRR deals on Friday this week, which is the most I've ever done in a single month.
When you say close, you closed on them once. Now you're closing on them again. The closing is the
we're doing the
refinancing.
refi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking about one of them, and I don't even think I've put a total of 5 hours into it, because honestly, it came from a postcard that my team put together, the direct mail marketing for. They got it under contract. I did go on the appointment and I made the offer. So that's about an hour worth of my time. And then from there, it was just spending the time to coordinate the contractors to go in and do the work. But I wasn't on site for any of that. Property got done in 3.5 weeks. I bought it for $30,000. I ended up only putting $11,000 into it, and it appraised at $125,000. So
That's not bad.
The all in is crazy. Yeah.
When did you buy it? When did you close on it the first time?
August.
Okay. All four of these, or just
all 4 of them. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know.
You're finishing them all at the same time, essentially.
Yeah, they're all done, and all we're in the refinance. Usually I'd prefer to get them rented after the appraisal is done. We've had a couple instances where it doesn't feel like it shows as well when you get a tenant in there and they come in and do the appraisal. I always feel like doing an appraisal when the property is empty helps it show better to the appraiser. So, but now we're in the process. We've started marketing these out to applicants for tenants, and 2 out of the 4 have already got people approved to move in. So they're going to be paying the mortgage plus a little bit extra in my pocket at the end of every month, which is the benefit too. If you people think about cash flow, and that's what you have left after you've paid the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, you've set money aside for maintenance and vacancies. Whatever you have left is your cash flow, but you got to think too, whatever they're paying down every month on your mortgage, that principal, that's money you make as well. So like if you're principal gets paid down $400 every month, you're making your cash flow plus that principal. So
Right. And you're the king of getting the property to appraise well. I remember with my property in particular that I did this past year, the best deal I've done so far this year, the $100,000 one that I just mentioned, it didn't appraise well the first time, actually. And you gave me a secret weapon that made it appraise correctly. What do you call that? A pre appraisal report?
yes, the pre-appraisal report. So essentially, before you even let the appraiser go in there, you're making you can use PowerPoint, whatever, but you're making an overview for them. You're going to show them pictures of what it used to be, pictures of what it is now, and list everything that you did to the property. And then also like put your own comps in there as well to tell them, we think this property, we're estimating this property is worth this amount right here. And this is why these 3 properties tell us why we think it's worth this much. Every single time I've done that pre-appraisal report, I've gotten exactly what I've requested on that report, what we've said that we think it's worth every time I get that amount.
Yeah, so I actually have my pre-appraisal report, which is exactly like Ryan just told me, and that fixed the problem. So if you guys want a copy of this, I'll give it to you guys. Go to DLeco on Instagram, just DM me report, and I can send that to you guys if you're curious what that looks like. And I'm giving credit to Ryan because this was his report, and I just inserted
I
my
have to give
details
credit
into
to
it.
Megan, my wife, because
Oh, she invented it. That's awesome.
she's the brains.
So all right. What are other hiccups that you might have ever had with the BRRRR strategy?
Um, Really, we haven't had a ton of hiccups lately. It's really I guess we could say the interest rates are kind of a hiccup right now. Like interest rates are a little bit higher right now. So what we used to do when we first started doing the BRRRRs 4 years ago, we would max the loan at 70% ARV. So if we weren't in it that far, we would take out 70% of the ARV. Now, depending on what the interest rate is and depending on what the monthly payment is, and depending on how much we're in the property, we try to leave as much of the equity in the deal as we can. We try to make some money. Obviously, you don't want to do this for free. But the intent is to make sure that it's paying for itself and that you're gaining the asset that is going to grow your net worth as well. So we've been right now, we've even in some cases leaving 50 to 60% or only removing 50 or 60% of the ARV. So we leave quite a bit of it in. When the interest rates come back down, that'll be an opportunity for us to refinance at a lower interest rate, and then you can take out more of the money.
How much does it cost to refinance, by the way? Because there is a fee with that typically.
Yeah, a couple $100. I mean, the banks that we're working with, if you ask them ahead of time, hey, if there's a rate drop, are we able to refinance? They'll tell you what their fee is then, so that you know. But for us, it's a couple $100 per transaction.
Oh, that's great. For me, I think it's about 1,000, I would guess, normal lender fees and stuff. So, I mean, that's fantastic. So you don't use, and I use Renova, which has been great as well. But you're saying you use more of a local bank?
Yeah, we use almost strictly local banks. That was something that we learned years ago when we first started doing it, was to find relationships with local banks that are not going to resell the loan. Every time that we've done an institutional lender, they've resold the loan like within 30 days of closing. And then you don't know who you're getting. With a local bank, you know the people that work there, they know you build that relationship. They continue to let you do business with them, and then it's just establishing a good working relationship. I think institutional lenders are just big and they're more about the deal. And for us in our community, we have a small population, so to me it just makes more sense to keep it here local, keep the money local. um, and everybody's been great to work with going that route.
Got it. So a brand new person probably couldn't go that route, right?
No, they
That's
could. I
from somebody who's
mean,
more advanced, right?
yeah, I mean, we were brand new. I mean, the very first we when we went to a conference It was a Max Maxwell conference back 2020. And that was one of the things that they talked about is like when you're wanting to do the BRRRR, find a local bank. They didn't say what skill set or what level of skill you had. That was just find a local bank to do the refinance because they're more likely to give you good terms and do repeat business. And so we weren't established. That was the very first thing that we did is I grabbed a phone book and I started calling all the banks in the phone book. Or I actually did grab a phone book, but I don't think they're around anymore. But just Google local banks in your zip code and then just start calling them and tell them, hey, I invest in rental properties. I buy them usually with cash. I fix them up with cash and then I want to refinance and get my money back out. They'll tell you right then and there whether that's something that they will do or not. And so once you find the ones that do, you ask them about the interest rates. You ask them, do you guys resell your loans? That's an important piece, in my opinion. You want to keep the business local. You want to keep the portfolio in their bank versus letting another bank just resell it multiple times. So those were just a couple of the things that we learned. But I don't think that there's any reason that a new person couldn't go and look for a local bank to get started.
Got it. So do you help people with BRRRR strategy in your coaching program? I know we just interviewed someone, Elena, who had actually done their very first wholesale deal, and you had helped them with that through your Deal Flow Academy.
Yeah, Deal Flow Academy is for anybody that's looking to do wholesale or wanting to grow their own portfolio through the BRRRR strategy. Both of those, they're two very different things, but they can play hand in hand. Like you can source your own deals through wholesaling and then BRRRR them. And sometimes you get the best deals going that route. But if you're looking for something a little more hands-off, a BRRRR strategy is something to do. And especially if you can find like a company that specializes in finding the deals, that specializes in providing you contractors so that you can stay doing what you're currently doing. If you're doing a 9 to 5, you can have a BRRRR happening in the background while you're working. So, but yeah, we totally coach BRRRR method and wholesale and Deal Flow Academy.
Yeah, so the website's dealflowacademy.com, or you could go reach out to Ryan directly, Heritage Home Investments on Instagram. Hope you guys got value from that. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, either in the Spotify comments or come to the DealEcho Instagram and let me know via DM. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.